This is the sixth class of the flower play, and yeah, very, very interesting day because it's the day, the 16th of February, just before the solar eclipse tomorrow and the new moon. So, very, very exciting times we're living in. And then 3 days later, we have the very, very powerful conjunction between Neptune and Saturn in beginning of Aries, 0 degree of Aries, which is known as the Creator's degree. So, really interesting times, lots of endings and absolute beginnings of beginnings. So, yeah, what else can we create together? It's about also being, how shall I say, more prepared for these alignments so that we can co-create with these alignments and with the earth more actively. So it's a very different ball game instead of just almost allowing it to happen, because that's not really true. But we've been very passive as a humanity in the past. Well, in the more recent past, the ancient people always actively anticipated. They always knew that these alignments would come. That the most incredible astronomical and astrological knowledge, of the cosmos. They could predict events, etc., and especially solar eclipses and also lunar eclipses, obviously, always had a lot of emphasis and attention from the ancient people because they knew the impact that this would have on the future of prosperity, of new beginnings, endings, etc. So yeah, so let's start making more active choices within our own lives, and with that we also change the collective because we're part of the collective. And as we know, very, very powerful year 2026. Yeah, I just love it. Someone said that they almost feel that they, for the first time, they're actually really starting to live. And yeah, I feel in a way that's it. It's like we've been waiting. Certainly, I feel I've been waiting for these times. And finally, it's here. And what do we do with it now? It's upon us, it's happening. Um, so I just want to speak a little bit before we actually go into the flower, and I draw a flower card. Um, those who haven't watched before, what this is, it's a series of classes, and we connect with the flower kingdom of the earth. The earth is there to support us, to help us, to make these transitions, to awaken, to let go, to do all of these things. And it doesn't have to be so hard. We're not here to do it on our own, but we've forgotten how to co-create with the earth, and also the immense power that these kingdoms have. And it's a very different power. Someone was talking about the last class. The power of the flowers, it's immensely powerful, but very subtle. Um, it's like the most beautiful string instrument that has a very refined energy. And so don't be fooled just because it's not in the old way powerful. Doesn't mean that it isn't powerful, and maybe it's even more powerful because it's so integrated in energy and in life that it seems so natural, but actually there's vast change that can occur. And that's always it's been my, I almost want to say mantra or absolute focus in this lifetime for me is, why would I choose something unless I really know that it will create real change? Life is too precious to go around in circles. So it has to have effect. And how do you have effect when you're creating? It's by creating with energy, not just on the surface. And this is so much this conjunction that's happening, which I'll maybe speak a little bit more after I just talk a little bit about also the solar eclipse and the new moon tomorrow. Because as we're doing this class, the working with the flowers, obviously we in our bodies, the flowers, everything is connected to big events that are happening. So we just, enlisting the help of all of this. So it's important to, how shall I say, look at the picture when we do anything, even when we do a class like this. and we work with the flowers, it's never done in isolation. It's always against the perspective of what is going astrologically as well, etc. Okay, so let's look at the solar eclipse. And as I said, these classes, and whenever I do anything, when I do online programs, when I do retreats, the focus is about to assist you to have real change in your life. So use this, receive it, So let's just delete and cancel any programming that we may have, implants and explants and algorithms and AI and blah, blah, that do not allow us and our bodies to know, be, perceive, and receive the greatest benefit that's available to us at this time during this class. So anything that doesn't allow that, 1, 2, 3 past, 4 future, and 5 algorithms and AI, and so it is. Okay, so the solar eclipse is, as you will know, an annular eclipse. It's a ring of fire, so it will be quite spectacular. Unfortunately, most of the planet won't see it, but yeah, it's that kind of eclipse. But more importantly, in a way, is that this is an eclipse that's very much about letting go. So what happens during an eclipse, generally a solar eclipse, is that it's like the sun is switched off, and it's a time where there can just be a complete release of the old. So I would say is a little bit delayed, but I'm just going to carry on. So the eclipse is about letting go. So what can you let go of specifically? The old. And it's also linked to the South Node, which is at the moment in Virgo. It will change in July to move to Aquarius and Leo. But yeah, what would you like to let go of? And Virgo is about habits, old, boring habits, almost like I almost want to say the lower frequency of accountancy. It's like 2 and 2 equals 4, and oh my dear, there's nothing else. It is just so incredibly predictable and linear. So yeah, so what would you like to release during this eclipse? Because as you know, it's to do with intention, and you have free will. So think about this before we start the new moon. That's happening at the same time of the solar eclipse. What would you like to let go of? What are you really done with? And perhaps you can also hold a planetary focus. We all know that so much has come to light, shocking stuff, etc., and more will come. Are you ready to just also let that go? Acknowledge it, but also say, you know what? I'm moving on from this, and I'm choosing something else. And I know that as a humanity, we have learned from this, and we can choose and create something different now. And I'm putting my eyes on the new beginnings as well. So yeah, to hold a focus of really letting go of that old 3D consciousness that has been about abuse of power, and on some level, it's one unified field. So we are all responsible on some level for holding or allowing that to occur on unconscious levels as well. So yeah, the solar eclipse, very, very exciting. So my invitation to you is, and the earth is asking you to really think deeply. I'm sure you have maybe already, as to what are you ready to let go of now? What are you ready to release as part of your story? And maybe it's the whole story that you're happy to let go of. So yeah, let's do that. And then going on to the conjunction, which happens 3 days after, on the 20th, which will before we have our next class. And the conjunction of Neptune and Saturn for me is very much about embodying and living fully in the material world and enjoying it, which is Saturn, having structure, having a body. but at the same time also know that you are a spiritual being. You are an embodied spiritual being, and how are you choosing to live your life now? So, yeah, this is a really big paradigm shift. And because of Neptune in the mix, it's saying you've got to start to become aware of the unseen. You're already aware of it, but we've got to become so much more aware of it and make it real and live from that place of the unseen, the intangible, the so-called spiritual side of life. And what you're going to notice, I've already noticed in myself as well, and this is going to be a growing theme, the earth is saying, is that you're going to start to feel very bored and dissatisfied with your life. And this is actually a good thing, because you need to start creating from a very different level of your being. And not the conditioned part that says, oh, I'm this, I fit into this box, this is what I've been told to be, and this is what I'm doing. No, it's about really being in the question and saying, what is my specific role? What have I come to express? What are my gifts? Where can I be a contribution? Because let's face it, it's really the biggest joy is actually when we're expressing ourselves and when there's a bigger picture involved. It's not just about the little me, I. That is actually not fun. It's fun for 5 seconds and then it's really so boring. So start to be in the question. As you know, change creates by being in the question and saying, what is there in my life that I can change so that I can become more fulfilled? What am I interested in? What can I start exploring? And this requires us to be really active. So if you are not active enough, I'm not active enough. But this is not the old active of do, and really being unconscious. It's about being actively in the question, tapping into the unseen, and from there making choices and being action orientated. So it's really asking us, because we're moving into this element of fire, and tomorrow, as you also know, we're moving into synchronistically, very beautifully, always on the new moon in February, into the new Chinese year. And it's also fire. So this is not a mistake. This is a divine synchronicity, that it's a fire horse here. So the fire is saying, ignite, bring inspiration. And fire is active. Fire isn't just there slumbering away. Fire is actually burning. Fire is bringing light, warmth, movement. And how can you bring that into your own life? That there can be this beautiful, inspirational fire that's anchored in, the unseen, an awareness and a knowing, an acknowledgement of the unseen existence of your spiritual self, of your higher self. We have different names for it. Your infinite self, of the unified field of all reality, of source, of oneness, that is so absolutely tangible, but you cannot, touch it. It's not material. And Saturn is saying, we're bringing it into the material because it's all one. But it has to be inspired from those unseen levels, where you connect with your spirit, where you say, what is it that I've come to do in this lifetime that is really going to give me joy, that is really going to light me up, so that I can be this light in the world that I know that I am, that I've always known, but I've always felt that I couldn't, or somehow just hasn't fallen into place. Well, it's now the time. It will fall into place. And miracles are starting to happen, truly. You know, it's all about timing, and this is the time to do it. So, so really, during these times, you know, with these alignments, with the solar eclipse tomorrow, um, the new fire horse here, the conjunction on the 20th, really ponder this and set your intention. Think about you and your life. Don't let it just pass you by as another day. That is also a choice, but hey, what a wasted opportunity. So, so really take some time out. Make it a priority. Make it a part of your focus. You deserve it. Receive from it. And know that this is really important for you. Are you going to carry on? The earth is saying, are you going to carry on living a mundane, boring, three-dimensional life? Or are you actually going to step up and know you are worthy of so much more? And the world is worthy of so much more. When are you going to wake up? When are you going to actually start claiming your power? And this is a beautiful power. This is a power of existence. This is a power of fulfillment. This is a power that's immense. But you know what? You are a human being. You are on a planet of free will, and you have to choose it. And choice is active. Choice isn't just, oh, I'm thinking about it. Well, you know, I've been pondering it. That is not choice. Choice is an actual commitment. Hey, I'm doing this. I don't care what it takes. I don't know how it's going to look. But hey, I'm in the question and I'm taking the next step. I'm committing to myself. I'm committing to this planet. And I'm committing to the most amazing future. And it's there. But you know, whether you receive it and how quickly you receive it and how quickly you manifest a very different life, it's gone with the suffering, it's gone with all the difficulty, the lack, all of that. And you know, we've heard these words before, but now it's really, as I say, it's timing. We've been building up to this. So really, yeah, start to see yourself differently, the earth is saying. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as ordinary? You're not ordinary. You're exceptional. Everyone on this planet is uniquely different and exceptional. And you don't want to be like anyone else. Because you are unique, and that is your gift. That is your unique contribution. So yeah, so let's do this. So anything that doesn't allow us to know, be, perceive, and receive the infinite blessings of the solar eclipse in Aquarius and the new moon, and the conjunction of Neptune and Saturn at 0 degree of Aries, anything that doesn't allow us and our bodies to know, be, perceive, and receive the infinite blessings of that now, can we cancel, delete, destroy, non-create all of it. And so it is. Wonderful. So I see there's a delay on my video, but it's all fine. And let's just connect with the energy, because technology is actually not outside of us. We give it all our power away to it, and actually it's not real. So let's draw the card, and then we're going to do a process and a meditation, and let's see what comes up. I'm always excited about this, to see what's going to show up. Okay, so once again, I just have the grief remedy here. This is the one for grief. You know, because there's so many endings also this year. It's the year of new beginnings, and there's so much happening. But there's also really a lot of endings, letting go, etc. And as we know, even if we choose it and we're done with it, there's some form of loss in order to create some space for the new. You know, something has to end, something has to die. And so on some level, we will be experiencing grief. So I would ask you to I'm going to surrogate for all of us. So I'm just putting a tiny drop in the center of my left hand. So if you can just imagine also receiving the energy of this flower for grief on your left hand, and just feel it. You know, our hands are the most sacred part. Well, it's all parts of the body is sacred, but our hands are immensely sacred. So let's just acknowledge our hands and the sacredness of it. And if you want to just use your second finger and just imagine that you're just in the palm of your hand, you're just rubbing it, you are activating the energy of this remedy. It's helping your body, it's going to help us and the collective to heal grief, to let that go. And then if you just want to actually inhale it a few times, imagine you're inhaling it. I'm doing it for all of us. And imagine that you're filling your whole aura with it. Let's do it again. Filling the aura, and one last time. And there we go. Okay, so let's draw the card for tonight. That's going to be of the greatest benefit to all of us here, those who be listening to the class afterwards or whenever, and also for our planet, and as preparation for the solar eclipse and the new moon, and also the conjunction. So I'm just going to actually draw the card here. I've set it up already. Okay. Wow. So the card is the Adol Essence Remedy. The Adol Essence Remedy. And the flower is the flannel flower. And the affirmation is, I now embrace and comfortably move through all of life's changes. I'm now happy and content with myself and my life. I'm just going to read one more. I now embrace and comfortably move through all of life's changes. I'm now happy and content with myself and my life. And so it is. And it's the flannel flower. I'm just going to show you, and I'll post this as well. Just see. It's a bit of a delay. So this is the flower. And it's the flannel flower. So this is very interesting that it's coming up about moving through all of life's changes. And, you know, the solar eclipse, as we know, is in the sign of Aquarius, which is all about sudden, unexpected change. And it's also, it will be squaring, the moon and the sun will be squaring the planet Uranus that actually governs Aquarius. So, you know, there is so much change that we're going through. You will be experiencing it yourself, I'm sure. Inner change within yourself. Could well be changes in your environment, maybe in relationships, maybe in where you live, maybe where you work. Yeah, many changes, and these changes will continue. But, you know, to be able to have peace with these changes and know that these changes are really for our highest good. It's part of this alignment of being more in tune with our spiritual self, our true self, so that we can start to live life in a very different way, on a very different timeline. And you know, this is such good news. And the earth was kind of saying, you know, if only we could have a sense, and maybe you have a sense of it already, where you will be